Hey, the Rivermen fans, welcome back to Carver Arena. I'm Jason Ruff. It's time once again for Trudel's Take, brought to you by Health Alliance. Jason Ruff joined once again by Rivermen head coach Jean-Guy Trudel. Guy, it's been a while since we had a chance to actually sit down and talk shop, but since our last sit down together, the Rivermen have just been on a complete tear now, 17 straight games with a point, new SPHL franchise record for this program. What is the secret? What has been the secret sauce to allow this team to have such success here in the second half of the season?
I always say the secret is to find good character players, and we're lucky here in Peoria. Over the years, we've had some great success as finding the right people to have not only a good team, but have a team that's fun to be around with. So every day we come into the rink, we're excited to see each other, and we're excited to work together and get better. So I've been blessed over the years to just great leadership groups, great people. And for a coach, you can't ask for more, because as long as you put in the effort, you're a great teammate, and you do whatever it takes every game, win or lose, you're pretty happy. And right now, we're getting lucky in some ways, and some ways I think it comes with the hard work that they're putting in every day.
Well, that's very true, Guy, but even you have to admit there are some teams who start off really hot or have a good November, December. They get into the dog days of winter, and all of a sudden they start to have difficulties. That has not been the case for you and your squad this year. When you look at everything as a whole, how pleased are you to see that the Rivermen have embraced the challenges that they've faced here in January and February and found such success and really forged on and gotten good reps, as you're so fond of saying?
Some people call them dog days. I call them man days. When you get to January, February, March, it's not only hard physically, but it's hard mentally, because it's winter, it's cold, it's dark, and the real men come to play at that time of the year. It's easy to play at the beginning of the year when everybody's got adrenaline, everybody's fresh, everybody has no injury. That's why in Peoria we think it's important to find great character people, because character people have been through hardships and they understand how to overcome hardships, which hardships comes in different ways, which some ways it just comes by, like you said, being that February, cold outside, dark, 3s and 3s. If you find the right people that just can't wait to come to the rink and work hard, usually you have a lot of success, and we're lucky here, man. I got a phenomenal group of people, and we're just going to keep going. And like you said, we talk about it a lot, but for us, it's just development, getting great reps. When the playoff comes, of course, is going to be all about winning, but right now we just want to keep getting better.
You've had a lot of 3 and 3s in the last couple of months, including a lot of 3 and 3s on the road, 10 straight, in fact, on the road here, just coming off that long road trip. How has this team mentally and physically been tested, and how have they been able to overcome those challenges?
Well, the test comes in, like we said, many different ways. You go on the road and you're not comfortable. Some rinks are cold, some rinks are, you don't know what you're going to get. You go in the south, it's very humid. So you get all these hardships. We had a lot of injuries. Our captain's been down. And even if he played on the road a little bit the last few games, he was banged up. So it was kind of hard for him to have great games out there. So, hardship comes in different ways, but we have depth. We have character. We have guys that love to be together. And we always talk about development, but I think at the end of the day, those guys just love to win. They love to go out there and compete and go after it. There's no teams. It seems like every time we play, we went to Knoxville, which is very hard to play in Knoxville with that small rink, and the guys just came up with the challenge. We went to Huntsville at 3 and 3. They were waiting for us. It was only their second game, and the boys were excited. They were really excited about the challenges, and I think it comes with our attitude we have here. Nothing's too big for us. We just like to attack it and see what happens, because we're not putting extra pressure on ourselves of saying we have to win this game. We just have to do our best to get better every single day, and I think we have that mentality right now here in Peoria.
Since Alec Hageman went down with a minor injury, Alec Bear has just exploded onto the scene. In fact, he has 11 points in his last 3 games, rightfully so, named SPHL Player of the Week. I joke that he won't let us not talk about him, because it seems like we talk about him every time you and I get together. But when you see someone like that really taking on the mantle of being a leader, not only offensively, but in terms of being in the locker room, playing well in all 3 zones, how much does that make your heart swell as a coach, knowing that everyone's truly bought into the system?
Well, that's great. I always say that's a good sign of you have a close team if everybody buys him. Second, talking about Alec, I have a saying a lot. I say a lot. He's supposed to. To me, Bearsy's that talented. I expect him to get 11 points every weekend. It doesn't always come, but that's how much I think about Alec Bear. I think he's a great player, and I think this year, giving him an A at the beginning of the year, I think really kind of he grew as a leader also because he had 2-3 weeks where he struggled a little bit this year, and the old Alec Bear of 2 years ago would have kind of folded for a long time and be hard on himself. This year is just, okay, I had a few hard games. What do I do to get better? He worked hard in practice, got his game back on track, and now he's a dominating force. And I think it comes with him, that leadership. You get a few years under your belt. You're around great guys like Hags and Bennis Krob over the years and those type of guys. You understand that no matter what, good, bad, you keep working, you keep getting better, and that's what he's doing. But like I said, that's saying for him, he's supposed to. I expect Bearsy, I expect all our guys, really, Godbout, Lades, all those guys to dominate every single game in their way. Whatever they do well, I want them to dominate in their own way. So, and they did. They did this weekend, and we did what we had to do to get that 4-0 lead after Quad City. And then, of course, human nature is we're gonna, go down a little bit, but it's okay. We did what we had to do to get the big win.
Certainly so, and I think a lot of fans are fortunate to see just the effort your team put forward on Sunday. Shorthanded Rivermen team, a lot of guys missing, including Alec Hageman and Cody Dion, going up against a Quad Cities team that essentially has their playoff roster. A lot of guys back from ECHL, and Peoria just punched them right in the face, metaphorically speaking, of course, and I don't think they were prepared for it.
No, I think it, that's always a double-edged sword when you see the other lineup without Dion, Hageman, Delorier, a bunch of guys missing. Sometimes you don't want to think that way, but you maybe think it's going to be, a little bit easier. Yep. And I'm telling you, before the game, our Piotrowskis, our Bearsies, or all those guys, our D-core, like they had the eyes that they wanted to prove something. And I think that's the great thing about Peoria. It's the next man up mentality. And I call them my depth guys. They're as important as everybody else, but like the Browsons, the Wisleys, and the Klutch, and those guys that maybe don't get the recognition that the Godbouts and Bearsies and Hags get. But man, they just played an outstanding game. And when it was 4-0, it's understandable. Sometimes you get a little all in the, and they're going to push forward also. As a team that's as good as Quad City, when you're down 4-0, it's frustrating. So we knew we were going to get a push. But the guys, even in the third period, I thought we played outstanding hockey in the third period. Or even the good chances they got, it was more from angles that we're allowing sometimes to get. So I was just really proud of my team. You don't want to say it too much, but because we're supposed to. But I was really happy with the group, the way they stepped up and came together. And we spoke before the game. It's funny because we talk all the time about development, great reps here. Right. It's not about the pressure of winning. It's about great reps. And before the game, I'm like, what do you guys want to do? And as a group, we decided that this one we wanted to win. So we wanted to put pucks in the right area. We didn't want to do turnovers. We wanted to block shots. So all the things that wins you playoff games, we did in that game. And, man, it was just spectacular for me to see.
And also, speaking on depth guys, Wisely gets his first professional goal. Chastain gets his second ever in the SPHL. And as a Peoria Riverman, when you see those guys, those depth guys getting rewarded for playing the right way, obviously it gets a lot of people excited. I bet the bench was Hooper and Holland out there.
We're pumped, and that's what's great about this group. We understand that everybody has as much as the role could be less or big, it's a specific role that's as important as any other role to win a hockey game. And I thought this weekend, I think I played Wise 22 minutes the last game. The last 3 games, he's been flying, and he's one of my top forwards. So for me to see the growth in players, and then Nate just comes in, and Nate is Nate. He's just one of the smartest hockey players I got to coach even for the Mustangs. And he just comes in, and he does what he has to do, and I'm happy for those two, and I'm happy for the whole team because, like I said, even guys like Browse and Klutch and those depth guys just played hard, played the right way. We had Wilkie playing forward, and he played just outstanding. So for a coach, it's really nice to see that when it's time to clamp down and play to win, that the guys can do it.
Obviously, Wisely has a younger brother playing for the Peoria Mustangs. We had a chance to meet some of the Mustangs at the last Riverman Booster Club dinner. And I was really not surprised, but really inspired by just how close the two programs, the Peoria Mustangs and the Peoria Rivermen, are. What do you think that closeness of the two programs speaks to, and how do you think that helps inspires the next generation of players who see those guys like Chastain, like a Hageman, like a Mitch McPherson, or an Austin Wisely, see those guys having success at this level and thinking, that could be me someday.
Yeah, I think it's great. As much passion as I have for the Rivermen, I have the same passion for my Mustangs, and I have the same passion for my youth hockey in Peoria. And I think it's great to see it even from the youth hockey part, because we have a lot of 8 and 9-year-old kids in Peoria that are very talented. And when they see the Hageman, the Mitch McPhersons, the Wisleys, the Nate Chastains getting a chance at the pro level, and even like Mitch and Hags, they all play the ECHL level. And I think if they would have pushed, if they keep pushing, they could play at any level. I think it's always great for everybody. So for me, my passion doesn't just stop with the Rivermen. It's the whole Peoria hockey program, and I'm lucky enough to be director of hockey for my youth group. And I love. We have our skill, and I love being on the ice with those young guys. And my Mustangs are my boys. So if ever I would have a chance over the years, even Hags, when he started with me in camp, at the beginning, I actually didn't take him. I brought him back after a while because they're my boys. And if I always say I think Coach Ortman and a lot of coaches over the years with the Mustangs do a great job of bringing him forward, and I'm lucky enough to be on the ice with their practices also. So I think we're building not only great hockey players but great young men for the future. So it's you just hit that's a hard one, because I have a tremendous passion for hockey in Peoria. I love all those kids.
In other words, it's supposed to be that way, right?
It's supposed to be that way, my friend.
Now, obviously, this week, a little bit of an interesting week. You have 2 on the road, one in Vermilion County on Thursday, another on Evansville on Friday, before you come back against the Bobcats at home on Sunday. Rivermen have a chance to clinch a playoff spot this Thursday. I know you're not thinking about that. Obviously, good reps are important against a team like Vermilion County, but a Vermilion County team that's actually played you guys tough the last couple of games. What's the most important thing to remember on the road?
When we get on the road, it's just activating our mental side. The physical's there right now. Everybody should be in shape. Everybody's going. It's activating the mental side, knowing that it's going to be our 11th and 12th road game out of 14. So we just got to keep pushing a little bit more, and then we're going to be at home for at least 2 weeks, so it's going to be kind of nice. Just activating that mental, and then right after the game, we're traveling to Evansville, and it's going to be the same thing because, like I said, we've been on the road so much in a bus that sometimes it's more the mental part. I mean, your mental allows your physical to get going, and we got to activate it right away. But we know Vermilion's been playing hard lately, and I always say when you play an opponent, it seems like we didn't play him at all at the beginning of the year, and now we've been playing him quite a bit. I think both teams are kind of tired of each other, so sometimes it makes for harder games or for maybe more difficult to activate that mental part. So for us, we just got to do that, get there, be ready, and knowing that Vermilion's going to come after us. We got 2 more road games. Let's finish it off. And after that, come home for a little while is going to be really nice.
Well, you know what they say, familiarity breeds contempt. Last question for you, Guy, before I let you go. Obviously, I'm sure you're aware about the scrum that happened in college basketball game between the University of Wisconsin and the University of Michigan, happened in the Handshake Line. A question for you. In terms of the hockey handshake line, how important do you think that is for the sport, and why do you think that handshake line at the end of a hard-fought playoff series is so impactful?
It's the respect that you have for what you went through in that series. It doesn't matter if you win, you lose, you win in 7, you lose in 7, or you win in 4. Or it doesn't matter. You, like you said, you're absolutely studying an opponent. So when I played in the AHL, we had 4 out of 7. You're studying your opponent before. You're pre-scout. You know absolutely every single player. And when you go game in, game out, and a lot of times when it takes a longer series, 6, 7 games, you actually get an appreciation for the hard work that they're putting in, because everybody thinks, I'm the hardest worker out there. But when you play a team that never stops coming after you, they don't quit, they block shot, they play through pain, they play with injuries, and you know all that. At the end of the series, win or lose, you just got to say, congratulations, that was just a hard fought. And it's just a sign of respect for both teams, understanding that, man, there's a lot of effort put in this series, a lot of, sweat going in this series, and you just congratulate each other, win, lose, and I think it's the best sign of respect. And I understand the emotion gets high, and college basketball, they do it after every single game, which is a little different. I don't know if I could, to be honest with you. If we'd have to go in the middle of the ice and shake hands after every single game, that'd be a little tougher because you have some good exchanges during the game sometimes, a frustration because hockey's an emotional sport, same as basketball. So you're going to have those. So I don't know after each game, but after a playoff series, I think you have time to calm down during the 4 hard-fought game or the 7 hard-fought game, and you just realize, man, these guys just gave it their all, so let's congratulate each other.
Sign of respect and an impactful part of a playoff series, arguably one of the best parts of any playoff series.
You think about everybody that watches a playoff series in the NHL. You can't wait to watch them shake hands at the end of the day because
absolutely.
it just, I don't know, it just shows you, man, these guys are able to go after each other, but at the same time respect each other enough to shake hands and say, great job on the playoff series.
I'll never forget the emotion that surrounded the Blackhawks-Red Wings series that went 7 games, the one that Seabrook won in overtime at the United Center. I think it was during the 2013 13 or 14 season, one of the two. But just, again, you have 2 teams, 2 rivals, 2 teams that just hated each other by the end of it. Yet they could put all that aside, come together, come to center ice, shake hands, say, hey, good series.
Absolutely. You put a lot of effort in it, so it's just a sign of respect. And then the next year they come back and they go after each other again, and that's a great thing about hockey.
Yeah.
It's just that, after the game you understand how hard it was. Even they always said that about tough guys also. Like they can fight during a game, but after the game they can have a beer together and chat about it, and what happens on the ice stays on the ice. We respect each other, and then after that, if the next game it happens again, you go after it because it's all about winning for your own team, but also respecting your opponent.
Absolutely. Part of why I think personally hockey is one of the best sports in the history of mankind. Guy, thanks so much for your time. We'll talk to you again next week.
Ruff, you're awesome. Thanks, buddy.
It's been Jason Ruff with Rivermen head coach Jean-Guy Trudel for your Trudel's Take. We'll see you next week, Rivermen fans.